My name is Ken Mallary. I'm a project manager at EPA Region 4. I am the project manager for the former custom cleaners site in Memphis, Tennessee. EPA did a removal action at the former custom cleaners site. The site property boundary is this area here. The area outlined in red here is where the former dry cleaning building was located. The areas you can see color-coded here, the area in orange was an area that was excavated. The soil was excavated down to 17 feet. Let me back up a second. So about a year ago, in 2016, the former dry cleaning building was removed, and the concrete slab below the building was removed. After that was done was when the soil cleanup action took place. Again, the area shown in orange, the soil, subsurface soil, was removed down to 17 or 18 feet. These areas shown in yellow and green were excavated to a 4-foot depth. We now want to move over to the next figure. This figure shows the results. It's a color-coded map showing the data from the soil gas information that was collected at the site last month. If you look at the way this is color-coded, the different colors show you the concentrations of perchloroethylene that were identified in the soil gas samples. This area right here had the highest concentration. This would have been at the southern end of the former dry cleaning building. And as you get into the orange colors and the yellows, those are the next highest concentrations. And as you move out from that area into the greens and blues, you have lower concentrations of perchloroethylene.
What is Perc? That's sort of the nickname.
Perc is the nickname. It's tetrachloroethylene. It's a very common solvent that is used in the dry cleaning industry.
Is it still used in the time?
It is regulated, has been regulated since the 70s. Solvents typically are more dense than water, so they have a tendency to want to sink relative when they're in a saturated situation. At sites like this that we're working on, where you had a building and a concrete slab, and where the tetrachloroethylene became located beneath that slab, basically was capped, and for years, decades, that material, if it's in an unsaturated soil condition, can sit beneath that slab and with very little movement.
Versar is the company I work for. We're one of 2 contractors for EPA Region 4 Superfund. So we work at sites all over the southeast for EPA. Solvent sites like this are probably the most typical kind of sites that we work on. They were so widely used in industry, and they're very soluble. If they're spilled, they easily get into the water.
What are the tricks of the trade to getting this out of the ground? I mean, I know there must be lots of things you can do.
There's lots of things, and really where we're headed with this investigation, you mentioned it is really early. I mean, we should be done with our field investigation part of this by the end of the calendar year. And once we're done with the investigation, we move into what's called a feasibility study, which I think we listed over here on one of the posters. The feasibility study is where we sit down and look at all the different ways we could clean this site up. And we look at the geology, we look at the type of contaminants, we look at how deep it is, how spread out it is. And we go through all the possible ways of cleaning it up and try to select the best one, the one that's most feasible, both technically and cost effectively. You know, besides looking at the technical aspect of it, we also look at the cost, and we try to balance those two.
Someone told me that one way it's done is by injecting bacteria or microbes. I mean, is that true, or is that just a rumor?
No, that's true. We've done that at sites before. That's called in situ bioremediation. Mm-hmm. You typically inject. You can't inject the microbes, or these microbes also exist naturally. sometimes there's just not enough of them to degrade the contaminants. So sometimes we inject the microbes, but we always inject food for the microbes. So we know something like lactate or emulsified oil, something to help feed them and grow their population so that they can do their thing and degrade the contaminants.
Which way does the groundwater flow around here? Is it
We think that it flows east from here, which would be toward the Sheahan well field. We will be able to confirm that later this month. We're going to install. Right now, we just have one monitoring well at the site, and we're going to install 5 more later this month. That'll give us the information we need to determine the groundwater flow direction. We think it's to the east toward the well field because this site is probably in the Cunner Depression for the well field. And it's probably one of the reasons that we don't see groundwater till like 125-foot depth because the sediments are dewatered, the shallower soils are dewatered by the well field.
Do you feel confident that you'll be able to take care of it and get it out?
We do, and I don't know if Ken mentioned to you also, we have met with MLGW back in March. You know, we told them about the issue, what we're working on, that we think groundwater is flowing to the east toward their well field, and we asked them to collect data from their wells that are near here. So they sampled quite a few wells, and EPA actually has a copy of the analytical data there, but they did not find any site-related contaminants or really any contaminants at all in the wells that are closest to the site in the Sheahan well field. And those were samples collected from raw untreated water, you know, straight from the wellheads.